Welcome to the Deep Dive, your go-to place for cutting through the noise. You know that feeling. A mountain of articles, scattered notes, research papers.
Yeah.
And you just need to get smart on a topic fast without drowning in all the detail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, consider us your expert guides, ready to chart a course through the complexity.
That's precisely it. Our mission today is to distill the most impactful insights, the real nuggets of knowledge, from a truly comprehensive source, a foundational textbook on graphic design.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about everything from the very essence of what design is to its fascinating applications in advertising and the constantly evolving world of interactive media.
So if you've ever found yourself wondering about the invisible forces behind the visuals that bombard you every single day, you know, the ads, the apps, the street signs, then this deep dive is absolutely for you. We're here to equip you with a new lens, a foundational understanding of what design truly is, how designers really work, and its incredibly pervasive role in shaping our society and media.
Yeah.
Our goal is to sharpen your visual literacy, helping you see the designed world with entirely new eyes and appreciate the intricate thought processes behind every single visual message you encounter.
It's about understanding the silent language that constantly influences our perceptions and experiences. This isn't just about making things look pretty. It's about intentional communication, strategic influence, and problem solving at every turn.
Okay, let's unpack this. When we hear graphic design, most of us probably jump straight to the obvious.
Yeah.
It would be a slick magazine ad, perhaps a cool movie poster or a catchy logo.
Right, the usual suspects.
But our source material immediately challenges that limited view. It frames design as an omnipresent phenomenon that reaches far, far beyond the glossy pages or screens.
And what's truly fascinating here is how deeply ingrained design is in our daily lives, often in ways we don't even consciously register. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
The specific patterns of zebra crossings guiding pedestrians, the barricades managing crowds at an event, or even the layout of a simple road sign that needs to convey critical information in like a split second.
Right.
These aren't accidental, they're designed.
And it goes even deeper. Our source points to things like the strategic grid patterns of modern cities that dictate traffic flow, the structured drills in a physical education class, or even the careful placement of security barriers and surveillance cameras outside government offices.
Exactly. They all present information through visual patterns, signs, symbols. They don't just serve a passive mechanical purpose. There are layers of hidden meanings and intentional communication woven into them.
Right. It's not just functional in a basic way.
Exactly. This is where it gets really interesting. The graphic designer isn't just a creator of images. They are a conscious agent, actively shaping our natural, industrial, sociocultural, technological, and even individual environments.
Wow.
It's a deliberate human intervention to make our surroundings more hospitable, more navigable, and ultimately more meaningful.
So design isn't just a surface-level phenomenon or an afterthought. Its true significance lies in its ability to fulfill a whole spectrum of demands, whether they're about beauty, function, or meaning. And these, as our source clarifies, are the three core functions of design: aesthetics, teleology, and semiotics.
Let's dive into those. First, aesthetics. This is often the first thing people think of with design, right? It's beauty values, it's visual appeal, what's pleasing to the eye.
Yeah.
Think about the vibrant, attractive color of fresh produce or the intricate, beautiful arrangement of a dish at a gourmet restaurant. It's about sensory appreciation.
Or even something historical, like the detailed ornamentation on an ancient Indus Valley civilization mud pot.
Exactly.
Our source highlights how the styling of a product can give it a crucial edge in competitive retail markets. The overall look of a product isn't just about making it pretty. It can powerfully determine its perceived socioeconomic placement and, crucially, forge a distinct brand identity.
Absolutely.
If you've ever picked up a product purely because you loved how it looked or felt in your hand, you've directly experienced the power of aesthetic design.
Next, we have teleology. This term addresses the purpose or practical aspects of a design.
Okay, the function.
Exactly. It covers its usability, how well it communicates, its readability, its overall impact, and its efficiency. To use our food analogy again, it's about the nutritional value of that dish, in contrast to just its beauty.
Right.
Or, from a graphic design standpoint, a poster specifically designed to be read effectively and quickly from a distance, perhaps from a moving vehicle.
And let's take a deeper dive into that poster design example, because this is where the designer's craft truly shines.
Okay.
A graphic designer's role is to build a clear visual hierarchy. That main slogan, for instance, needs to be immediately and prominently visible.
Right, grabs your attention first.
Usually achieved with an impressive typeface and a large size. Secondary captions might use medium-sized fonts, while the detailed reading text, if any, will be in a smaller typeface, intended for closer inspection. Images and illustrations aren't just decorative. They're carefully chosen to supplement and amplify the desired impact.
Yeah, they support the message.
Think about road signs you encounter every day. Do they communicate quickly and effectively, even at speed? That's teleology in powerful action.
Finally, we arrive at semiotics. This delves into the deeper meaning and theme behind a design. It encompasses its sociocultural, historical, ritualistic, or traditional value.
Okay, so the meaning layer.
Precisely. Imagine that same dish of food. Beyond its taste or nutritional value, food cooked by a loved one carries a special, irreplaceable significance, a story, a memory.
Exactly. The Olympic Games signage system offers a fantastic example here.
Mm-hmm.
A graphic designer isn't just creating symbols. They're tasked with capturing and conveying the entire spirit of sportsmanship, peace, and harmony through appropriate color schemes and visual elements that resonate globally.
That's a huge responsibility.
Totally. Or consider designs that carry features from a particular tradition, like Worley paintings on greeting cards or lampshades in India.
Right.
These specifically attract users familiar with that tradition, fostering empathy and a deeper cultural connection.
The hallmark of truly good design is how seamlessly it integrates all three of these components: aesthetics, teleology, and semiotics.
Right, all working together.
When done exceptionally well, this blend creates maximum impact, yet often goes unnoticed by the casual observer precisely because it's so perfectly integrated and feels intuitive. It's the invisible hand guiding perception and shaping experience.
So it's clear design is far more than mere decoration. Those sensory perceptions, the aesthetics, are incredibly powerful tools for attraction and desire generation in competitive markets.
Absolutely crucial.
They are absolutely crucial for establishing and maintaining brand identity.
And this leads us to a broader, more significant implication. Graphic design, as a powerful and popular medium, is strategically employed to promote certain ideologies. This raises an important question. How does the seamless blending of aesthetic appeal, functional purpose, and embedded meaning leverage everything from corporate spokespersons and visual logos to audio jingles, clever slogans, special effects, and product packaging to generate specific, desired results?
It's all part of what our source calls social mediation. This is the fascinating concept of how mass media representations, even purely hypothetical ones, are recognized, interpreted, and then used to construct our daily lives.
Mm-hmm. It shapes how we see things.
It can subtly blur the lines between what we see in media imagery and what we perceive as societal reality itself.
Yeah.
In many ways, media isn't just a reflection of society.
Society increasingly becomes a reflection of the imagery it consumes, yeah.
Exactly.
This profound influence even penetrates seemingly unexpected domains, like our notions of body and health. The ideals of a perfect or healthy body are often highly designed ideals shaped by visual media,
Ah, interesting.
rather than being simply natural or purely scientifically objective realities. A quick glance at how body ideals have changed across different cultures and eras reveals just how flexible and designed these concepts can be.
And this brings us to some very contemporary challenges and the immense responsibility designers now bear, especially in the post-liberalization era, like in India.
Right.
We've seen a new philosophy emerge where desires are literally manufactured through a whirlwind of signs, symbols, and imagery. This has been hugely augmented by user-friendly new media tools.
Yeah, the tools make it easier, faster.
It's not just about creating, it's about understanding the impact of creation, which has led to a new generation of designers and, crucially, an ever-growing need for thorough training and sensitization towards responsible design.
And this is where it gets really interesting and incredibly urgent. The grave challenges of global warming and environmental degradation. Our indiscriminate use of natural resources, a clear fallout of centuries of industrialization, now fundamentally threatens our very existence. Graphic design has a profound responsibility here.
How so?
Well, it must move beyond mere commercial goals and become more responsible, more responsive to the environment, and deeply sensitive to ecological balance.
That means new buzzwords aren't just buzzwords, they're central to contemporary design philosophy. Sustainability, recyclables, minimum energy consumption, and waste management.
Exactly. Designers are challenged to optimize materials, create products with minimal ecological footprint, and even conceptualize self-sufficient, sustainable units. The graphic designer, therefore, plays a truly seminal role in resolving these critical contemporary design issues.
Okay.
Beyond the pure creative aspect, graphic designers navigating the corporate world face significant real-world constraints. Often, strict timelines and limited finances.
The practical side?
Right. Yet they must still produce high-quality work. This demands a powerful ability to synthesize diverse inputs, whether it's technical specifications from engineers, marketing insights, feedback from managers and policymakers, or collaboration with co-designers.
And it's certainly not all glamorous, purely creative tasks.
Definitely not. Designers also need to meticulously understand user research feedback, work within stringent cost specifications, and prepare effective presentations that articulate their vision to clients and stakeholders.
So communication is key too.
Absolutely. This whole process demands not just artistic talent, but also excellent communication and persuasive skills. They also often navigate an ideological dilemma, particularly freelancers, who need immense versatility rather than narrow super-specialization. Maintaining individual creative identity while adhering to larger design concerns under pressure is a constant challenge, but a robust design philosophy can, over time, lead to truly historical contributions.
Moving from the why design matters so profoundly, let's now turn our attention to the how. How do designers actually bring these impactful ideas to life?
Good question.
This brings us to the graphic design process itself. The word design is fascinating because it's used in two key senses. As a noun, referring to the final artifact or visual image.
The thing you see.
And as a verb, denoting the activity or the methodical process of making that artifact. Our focus now is on this dynamic process of creation.
And it's so much more than just creative thinking, as vital as that is. While creativity, imagination, and visualization are at its very core, the professional design process also involves essential, often not so creative, but utterly critical activities like coordination, rigorous project management, compelling presentation, and even subtle persuasion.
Wow, a lot of hats to wear.
Definitely. So a successful designer truly needs a diverse set of capabilities. Sharp observation, thorough research, excellent coordination, strong management, deep technical knowledge, and powerful persuasive skills.
Okay.
The design process is typically broken down into multiple stages, but it's important to understand it's not always a rigid, linear progression.
Right, you mentioned iterative.
Exactly. It's often iterative and recursive, meaning stages can happen simultaneously. An idea might be rejected during a later phase, sending the designer back to an earlier stage, like ideation, to refine or rethink. The designer's context also heavily dictates their freedom from full autonomy on a personal project to significant struggles in a corporate setup with hierarchical approvals, marketing input, and strict constraints.
Makes sense. Let's walk through these stages. Stage 1 is the design brief, the very foundation of any project.
The starting point.
This is where the client typically provides a detailed project description, though sometimes it's a collaborative effort, a joint preparation between designer and client. The brief is crucial because it outlines the theme, defines the target audience, specifies available resources, sets the duration, and of course details the budget.
All the constraints and goals.
And it's important to clarify that design problem here doesn't mean something problematic in the negative sense, but rather the specific design task or client requirement like making the food on a new restaurant poster look irresistibly appetizing.
Right. Defining the actual job to be done. Within this initial brief stage, there are several specific steps. First, the clear identification of the design problem, whether it's a client-given request, like a new ad campaign, a book cover, or a website redesign, or perhaps a designer-initiated project like reimagining an existing brand. Then comes research and positioning of the project. This involves thorough investigation of similar projects, analyzing existing solutions to pinpoint their strengths and weaknesses.
Checking out the competition, basically.
Yeah, and understanding the landscape. This critical analysis helps the designer strategically position the new project and develop a robust design approach.
Next, there's requirement analysis, which involves an initial survey of the target audience.
Super important.
This is vital to genuinely understand user needs, providing the designer with a realistic and grounded understanding of the project's real-world implications.
You need to know who you're designing for. Finally, all these insights lead to the finalization of the brief, Here, the designer reflects on the initial brief, making necessary changes based on newly gathered insights. This might involve conducting feasibility studies for reorientation of the theme or scope and establishing realistic time and cost estimates.
Making sure it's actually doable.
Exactly. It also ensures adherence to established branding and identity standards and clarifies user needs and business goals.
Moving into stage 2. Creative processes nurturing ideas.
The fun part? Well, sometimes. While there's certainly an element of innate talent or giftedness in creativity, our source emphasizes that creativity can absolutely be nurtured, honed, and systematized through specific processes and dedicated effort.
So it's a skill you can develop.
Very much so. Every designer, over time, develops a unique style and a distinct perspective in how they perceive and approach a problem.
And what's truly fascinating here is how often, in professional real-world settings, the ideal design process is rarely followed perfectly due to intense pressures, think tight deadlines or budget constraints.
Yeah, the reality check.
This constantly forces designers to make difficult decisions about what aspects to compromise. Yet most committed designers strive to remain truthful to the core methodological process. Our source emphasizes that the creative phase, the ideation or exploration, is generally non-negotiable for producing impactful work.
Preparation and continuous observation are absolutely key here. Great ideas, as the saying goes, often come to prepared minds.
Okay.
A designer should cultivate a habit of continuously observing everything around them, from macro issues like environmental pollution or social challenges to cultural events, seasonal changes in nature, or even political developments.
Just soaking it all in.
Exactly. The designer actively seeks novelty and uniqueness, reflecting critically on what is meaningful and rigorously documenting these emerging ideas through quick sketches, photographs, or simple memory notes.
Then comes explorations and ideation, which is essentially brainstorming. It's often highly effective to begin with free-form lists of relevant words, topics, and phrases. This broadens your perspective and helps uncover non-obvious ideas.
Yeah, gets the juices flowing. If you're brainstorming in a group, it's crucial to involve diverse people and, most importantly, completely avoid critical evaluation during the initial ideation phase.
No bad ideas at first.
Right. This prevents stifling, potentially brilliant but nascent ideas. The entire process functions as a generate test select mechanism, a dynamic, iterative cycle where many ideas are generated, then evaluated against predefined criteria, a selection is made, and then the process loops back if the chosen idea doesn't quite hit the mark.
Keep refining.
Fluency in idea generation, meaning producing a high volume of ideas, is key here.
Okay.
Associative thinking is another subtle yet powerful mental process for generating novel ideas. This includes extension, which is building upon existing ideas. Think of how a modern smartphone is an extension of the basic telephone concept.
Right.
Then there's finding contradiction, opposition, or contrast in concepts, which is often the basis for creating humorous caricatures or impactful political cartoons. And finally, random or forced association, which involves deliberately connecting seemingly unconnected concepts like firebird or chair kangaroo to visualize entirely new, unexpected ideas.
Okay, thinking outside the box. And to quickly capture all this creative output, designers rely on thumbnails.
Ah, yes, thumbnails. Essential. These are small, rough sketches used to rapidly capture basic ideas for page composition, things like header placement, column structure, or how text might align without getting bogged down in intricate details.
Keeping it loose.
Exactly. For websites, they're used to map out the overall layout, the navigational structure, and even rough color schemes. The beauty of thumbnails lies in their efficiency. They enable rapid idea iteration, allowing designers to explore many possibilities in a short amount of time.
After generating a plethora of ideas, analysis and selection becomes crucial.
Right. Time to get critical. This involves systematically classifying and grouping similar ideas, identifying consistency among them, and ruthlessly eliminating unnecessary or less effective ones.
Trimming the fat.
Pretty much. This process also helps highlight any gaps, prompting the generation of even more ideas. Criteria for selection are diverse, including aesthetics, functional requirements, usability, communicability, technological feasibility, printing considerations, material costs, ethical concerns, and of course, the specific demands of the project brief.
A lot to juggle.
Definitely. If needed, another round of ideation helps refine or generate better ideas until true satisfaction with the concept is reached.
Once the core ideas are selected, we move to stage 3. Planning and execution, where concepts truly begin to come to life.
Making it real. This phase typically kicks off with concept generation, where the designer decides on the overall visual theme, the treatment, and the visual language for the project.
Setting the direction.
Usually, 3 to 5 distinct concepts are developed to present to the client, allowing for modifications or even the merging of elements from different concepts. Following concept approval, it's time for assets creation and collection.
Gathering all the pieces.
Exactly. This involves meticulously gathering all the necessary materials, whether it's commissioning high-quality illustrations, sourcing compelling images, refining initial sketches, selecting impactful photographs, developing animations or video clips, and gathering all types of text, from punchy slogans and concise captions to detailed content.
And then the critical phase of visual design. This is where the magic really happens and is absolutely crucial for the success of any design, whether it's for print or new media.
The look and feel.
It's all about visual composition, the thoughtful organization and arrangement of all those visual and textual assets to make the maximum impact. Selectively chosen visuals can create enormous impact, adding layers of dimension and meaning far beyond what mere text can convey. Adherence to fundamental principles of design like contrast, balance, rhythm, and proportion is absolutely essential here.
The building blocks.
The overall layout, the underlying grid system, and the choice of typography are all crucial for setting the visual theme and mood. The importance of typeface selection for both its verbal readability and its visual effectiveness cannot be overstated.
Right, the font choice matters hugely.
A well-constructed layout and grid provide the essential structure and visual stability, while principles like visual rhythm are generated by strategically counterbalancing compact areas of motion or activity with sufficient spaces for the eye to rest.
Breathing room.
Exactly. For new media specifically, this also extends to critical elements like information architecture, task flow diagrams, and navigational schema.
After meticulous planning and execution, we enter stage 4. Prototype or dummy of the crucial test run.
The trial run.
In traditional design, this involved preparing physical artwork.
Yeah.
Today, this entire stage is conducted using sophisticated software tools. For print media, this means preparing actual-size dummies for the chosen concepts, which are then presented to the client for final approval. Any suggestions are incorporated into what's now known as the final digital blueprint, the perfectly prepared digital file that considers all printing issues like paper quality and ink types.
Okay, getting it ready for print.
For new media like websites or interactive applications, the prototyping phase involves even more rigorous testing, with usability concerns being paramount.
Does it actually work for users?
Precisely. This includes system-level testing to ensure compatibility with various hardware and software configurations. There's often an alpha testing phase conducted in-house,
Internal checks.
followed by beta testing with a limited number of actual users in a real-world environment. Simple paper prototypes or basic wireframe models are frequently used for initial user testing, allowing for quick feedback before diving into complex coding.
Testing early, testing often.
Exactly. This entire process is highly iterative, meaning it cycles back and forth, refining and improving until all requirements are satisfactorily met before the final launch. While this describes an ideal case scenario, designers must adhere to these steps as much as possible, as the creative exploration and refinement phases are generally non-negotiable for quality work.
Stage 5 is implementation, bringing the design to the world.
Showtime. This involves preparing the final, ready-to-use digital artwork files and providing a proof, a final printed copy or digital rendering for the client's ultimate sign-off.
Final approval.
For traditional print media, these files are then forwarded directly to a commercial printer. For new media, such as websites, the files are uploaded to a web or multimedia developer, often followed by a pilot version launch to test in a live environment.
Then comes stage 6, the report thoroughly documenting the journey.
Wrapping it up. For traditional media, preparing a detailed report is often a preference, serving as a valuable reference for future projects. For new media, however, preparing a comprehensive design specification document is frequently mandatory. This document meticulously details the entire design process, including all technical information like hardware, software, and code used, any specific standards followed, and the precise final output specifications.
Leaving a clear record.
And finally, stage 7, review and assessment measuring the impact.
Did it work?
Essentially, yes. Once the design is out in the world, whether it's a new ad campaign or a website, the client is naturally curious about its actual impact on users and the target audience. A systematic review is then conducted, either by the designer themselves or by a third-party agency, to objectively assess the design's effectiveness against its initial objectives.
Okay, now that we've journeyed through the entire multi-stage design process, let's zoom in on the fundamental building blocks of graphic design itself.
The nuts and bolts.
Our source specifically focuses on what it calls form or aesthetics. While every design must certainly fulfill a purpose, it achieves that purpose in a distinct style. It's that element of beauty, that thoughtful form, that truly distinguishes impactful design from mundane objects. This section covers the core formal aspects: sketching and drawing, the power of color, the principles of visual composition, the science of typography, and the art of layout design.
Let's begin with sketching and drawing. The designer's eye in hand. Our source describes drawing as an amusing, rewarding, and utterly essential discipline across all visual arts design, architecture, media, and fine arts.
Foundational stuff.
Absolutely. At its heart, it's a fundamental system for representing visual ideas and complex thoughts, for depicting three-dimensional reality on two-dimensional surfaces. It is, in essence, a crucial tool for visualization, allowing designers to represent their imagination in a way others can understand and engage with.
And it's incredibly efficient. Drawing is quite simply the most economical and rapid way to record, illustrate, and express complex thoughts that elaborate verbal explanations just can't capture.
Yeah, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right?
Exactly. Think about it. When images are intentionally arranged with text, communication simplifies dramatically and becomes far more effective. While photography offers an alternative, drawing is still widely preferred by designers for brainstorming and visualization because it allows for pure conceptualization without the constraints of reality.
Drawing is also an art form in itself, capable of influencing emotions through what's called the effective quality of line, expressing subtle gestures or moods.
The feeling of a line.
Yeah, it's inherently subjective, inviting viewer participation and interpretation. A primary requisite for learning drawing is keen observation and patient, continuous practice. This trains the designer's eyes to appreciate nuanced visual aspects and to intuitively understand the deeper visual language embedded in the world around them.
Our source distinguishes between draw and sketch.
Right. To draw is defined as to fetch or pull ideas, whether from within your mind, thoughts, and emotions, or from external reality, be it man-made objects, social environments, or nature. It means to describe, extract, and capture the very essence of something.
Okay.
A sketch, on the other hand, is understood as a first rough draft or plan, an outline for initial concepts.
Got it. Rough versus capturing essence.
Drawings can derive from external reality, like object drawing or nature drawing, or from internal reality, such as memory drawing, which forms the basis for visualization in animation and illustration, or imagination drawing, which captures creative ideas and visual metaphors, like those firebird or chair kangaroo concepts we mentioned earlier. Design drawings are specifically based on information, construction principles, and visualization, often possessing significant creative value. Expressive drawings, conversely, offer a more subtle and abstract representation of thoughts, emotions, and feelings. Our text highlights some key virtues of a good drawing, emphasizing why it's fundamental to a designer's perception and problem solving. For instance, a thoughtful drawing articulates the unique qualities of a shape, enriching both perception and visual vocabulary.
It makes you see better.
Exactly. It reveals hidden structures like proportions and patterns, compels careful observation to perceive nuances, and helps build a unified visual vocabulary that translates reality into distinctive lines and strokes. Ultimately, it fosters empathy and enables a designer to look at an object as a sign, associating things to create deeper meaning and ensuring visual compatibility in symbolic representations.
Next, let's talk about color, the emotional language of design.
Color. Always a big one. Color isn't just a hue, it's an essential visual component, a specific perceptual characteristic studied by scientists, artists, and designers alike. Our source reminds us that color behaves dramatically differently in diverse situations. The same shade might look entirely different under theater lights, in a watercolor painting, or as printing ink. This highlights its varied physical and perceptual properties.
The context is everything.
Absolutely. This leads us to the critical understanding of color theories. First, there's the additive color theory, RGB. This explains how combining wavelengths of light red, green, and blue, which are the primary colors of light, generates white light.
Like on screens.
Exactly. Conversely, the absence of these light wavelengths creates black. Secondary colors formed by mixing these primaries appear brighter. This theory perfectly explains how digital screens, like your TV or computer monitor, produce their vibrant images.
Okay. Then we have the subtractive color theory, CMY, CMYK.
Right, this is for pigments and inks. This theory explains how they work. They absorb certain light rays and reflect others. Cyan, magenta, and yellow are the primary colors in this system.
CMY.
Mixing these theoretically aims for black, represented as K in CMYK for a key or black, but in reality, combining them usually results in a dull, muddy brown-gray.
Ah, so that's why printers use black ink.
Precisely. This is why commercial printing uses a separate dedicated black ink in addition to cyan, magenta, and yellow, creating the CMYK system. Our source also points out that when mixing physical pigments, purity and luminosity are often lost, which is why professional artists and printers utilize a vast range of pre-mixed colors rather than relying solely on mixing primaries for every shade.
Makes sense. The color wheel is an indispensable tool, truly the designer's guide.
Totally. Building on historical contributions from figures like Newton and Goethe, the standard 12-color wheel features primary colors, red, yellow, blue, secondary colors, orange, green, violet, and the tertiary colors that result from mixing a primary and a secondary. While it offers a standardized framework, our source notes the inherent challenge in standardizing specific hues and values across different media. From a design perspective, this practical tool is invaluable for understanding how colors relate.
The color wheel also helps us understand color harmonies or schemes, visually pleasing combinations of colors.
Yeah. Warm colors, ranging from reddish violet to yellowish green, are generally perceived as aggressive and active, tending to advance visually.
Like reds and oranges.
Right. In contrast, cool colors, from green to violet, are seen as passive and receding.
Blues and greens.
Complementary colors are those directly opposite each other on the wheel. Think red and green, blue and orange, yellow and violet. They create strong contrasts and can be incredibly vibrant when placed side by side, making them excellent for eye-catching advertisements or logos.
Good.
But our source explicitly warns against using them for reading text, as the high contrast makes it incredibly difficult on the eyes, leading to low readability.
Good tip.
Analogous colors are three colors positioned next to each other on the color wheel. These combinations tend to be serene and pleasing, often found naturally in environments, with one color typically dominant and another subdominant.
More subtle.
Yeah. Triadic schemes involve three colors that are evenly spaced around the wheel, creating vibrant yet not aggressive combinations. A split complementary scheme uses a base color plus the two colors adjacent to its direct complementary, offering strong contrast that is often less distracting and easier to manage than a pure complementary pair.
Okay.
Finally, tetradic or square schemes utilize four colors, offering rich variations but presenting a significant challenge in achieving overall balance and harmony.
Lots of options. Color interactions are endlessly fascinating.
Oh, yeah. Joseph Albers, the renowned artist, famously highlighted how a color's visual perception and interpretation are profoundly influenced by its surrounding environment.
So the same color can look different.
Totally. Our source details peculiar effects, like how contrasting hues placed side by side can create blurring or vibrating effects. Similarly, forms can appear to come forward or recede based on their background color, hue, and gray value. A critical takeaway for designers, as the source emphasizes, is that low contrast, such as red text on a blue background, significantly reduces readability and visual comfort.
Right, hard to read.
And finally, color symbolism delves into the cultural meanings attached to colors, which are both fascinating and often culturally controversial.
Yeah, red means different things in different places.
Exactly. While some meanings can be traced back to physical or biological levels, think of red often symbolizing danger or blood most, are deeply culture-specific. Color is studied at physical, biological, psychological, and symbolic levels. For instance, white often signifies purity or peace. Black can represent mystery or death. Gray suggests stability but also boredom. Red often evokes passion or danger. Yellow, joy or intelligence. Blue, trustworthiness or serenity. Orange can mean happiness or sacrifice. Green, nature or wealth. And violet, royalty or spirituality, while brown suggests calmness or earthiness.
Wow.
As you go about your day, take a moment to consider how color impacts your mood, your perceptions, or even your purchasing decisions. It's a powerful, often subconscious influence.
Definitely something to think about. Now, let's explore the fundamentals of visual composition, arranging for impact.
putting it all together. At its essence, to compose means to carefully select and arrange various components to make a design not just functional but also attractive. This applies whether the design is two-dimensional, three-dimensional, or even temporal, like an animation. A truly good composition is like an organic entity. It communicates effectively, aesthetically influences viewers, and offers a cohesive, unique experience. It creates a sense of oneness and establishes a clear hierarchy that guides the eye for comfortable reading.
Order out of chaos.
Precisely. Our source reminds us that chaotic arrangements inevitably confuse the viewer. Precision, combined with aesthetic quality, is truly decisive. The basic constituents of any composition are space, often referred to as negative space.
The empty bits.
Right, which acts as the passive background supporting the elements. Form, or positive space, which is the actual object that isolates itself from the background, serving as the concrete, informative element. And structure, which defines the cohesive relationship among forms and with both positive and negative spaces. The frame or format is also crucial, as it isolates the design, gives it emphasis, and guides selective attention. The dynamic relationship between the frame, the field, the overall visual area, and the forms within it varies across media.
How so?
In painting or graphic arts, the forms are the active elements. In photography, it's often the active framing that captures a passive scene, while in cinematography or animation, all three elements are simultaneously active, constantly interacting.
Interesting distinction. Building on these constituents are the principles of composition, which are universal aesthetic guidelines, implicit and active within the composition structure and appearance found across all art forms.
Rules, sort of.
Our source highlights 7 key principles. Rhythm, which is repetition with variation, think uniform dots that gradually change in position or size, creating a sense of movement. Contrast, which is the purposeful dissimilarity between elements.
Making things stand out.
Unity, signifying complementarity among elements. Proportion, defining relative ratios. Balance, creating a sense of equilibrium, whether symmetrical or asymmetrical. And harmony, which is similarity among elements. These principles are often best learned by experimenting with basic elements like neutral dots or lines to understand how orientation, size, and directionality affect the visual outcome.
The core elements of composition are the dot, the line, the shape, and the form, all made visible by properties like value, texture, and color. Designers also employ relational visual devices to control impact tools like size, orientation, position, spacing, alignment, and direction. Then there are effective devices like the medium, style, or a deliberate center of interest which profoundly influence the viewer's mind.
The emotional angle.
And finally, intuitive devices such as selection, synthesis, and variability relate more to the designer's innate creative ability and decision-making.
The impact of a strong composition is profound. A good composition subtly presents its attributes without disturbing overall harmony. Loud or chaotic projections simply distract.
Less is often more.
At its core, composition is the purposeful organization of these building blocks or elements. These principles are part of a sublime universal order, mirrored in both nature and man-made creations. They are interdependent, meaning they coexist and influence each other. For example, subtle changes in orientation can create distinct gestures and expressions in simple shapes. Overlap and variations in size are powerful tools for introducing depth. Emphasis and de-emphasis are used to create a clear visual hierarchy, guiding the viewer's eye.
Leading the eye.
And converging lines, like those in a photo of an airplane seemingly zooming towards you, effectively emphasize movement and direction.
Moving on to typography, the science of letter forms.
The letters themselves.
Think about it. Letter forms are absolutely ubiquitous in our daily lives. They're in the newspaper you read, the signage you pass, the books on your shelf, and every digital interface you interact with.
Everywhere.
Designers don't just pick fonts randomly. They carefully select them based on the specific design problem, the medium, the target audience, the production method, and the overall context. Every font has unique characteristics that must be used precisely to ensure clear communication and, critically, to impact readability.
Fonts are primarily classified into 3 main groups, each with a distinct feel. First, serif fonts.
The ones with the little feet.
Right. These have those small, pointed endings, like tiny feet, resembling letters carved in stone. They often have varying stroke thickness and are renowned for their readability, especially in large blocks of text, which is why you see them in most books and newspapers. Times Roman is a classic example. Second, sans serif fonts, literally meaning without serif.
No feet. Cleaner look.
They have blunt endings and often more equal stroke thickness, giving them a clean, modern, minimalist look. They're widely used in logos, packaging, websites, and mobile interfaces. Helvetica is a prime example.
Very common.
And third, script fonts. These mimic calligraphy or handwriting, offering a festive, elegant, or personal look, frequently used for things like wedding invitations. Brush script is a good illustration.
While font anatomy can get quite detailed, let's zoom in on a couple of key features that really impact legibility and readability. X height, for instance.
X height.
Yeah, it's the height of a lowercase x within a typeface. This seemingly small detail makes a huge difference in how easy an entire block of text feels to read. Another critical factor is leading, which is the space between successive lines of text.
Line spacing.
Exactly. This is absolutely crucial for comfortable reading, especially with fonts that have large X heights or in situations with long line lengths. Other important features include point sizes, the smallest unit of measure, with 72 points equaling 1 inch. Weight refers to the boldness of a stroke, from thin to regular, bold, or black, used for emphasis. And spacing, which includes both kerning, the space between individual characters, and tracking, the space between words. Too little or too much spacing dramatically reduces readability.
Getting that spacing right is crucial then. Text formatting for readability is paramount in typography. Text alignment options include left aligned.
Standard, usually.
This is generally the most natural and easiest to read, leaving a ragged right edge. Justified, where text aligns to both left and right margins, popular for fitting more text but can sometimes create visually disruptive rivers, ugly white lines, or bubbles, ugly white spaces between words, reducing reading comfort.
Yeah, justified text can look neat but be hard to read sometimes.
Centralized alignment is best reserved for headlines or invitations, and rarely, if ever, used for body text. Right, aligned has very specific uses and is not suitable for main body text. Our source also highlights common readability issues like excessive hyphenation and orphans, the last line of a paragraph appearing at the top of a new column, or widows, the first line of a paragraph appearing at the bottom of a column. All of these create visual disturbance and disrupt the reading flow.
Multilingual typography presents a fascinating and complex challenge, particularly in a country like India with its 13 distinct scripts and 22 official languages.
Wow. Yeah.
Designers must meticulously select harmonious fonts from different languages when creating signage or logo types to ensure visual coherence and readability across diverse linguistic contexts. Lastly, expressive typography is where designers truly push the boundaries.
Playing with letters.
Exactly. Experimenting with orientation, size, position, space, weight, width, and style to make letter forms visually express their inherent meaning. Think of how the word JUMP could be designed to literally look like it's leaping, or dead might appear slumped, or widescreen stretches across the page. It's about making the letter form itself part of the message.
Our final building block is the principles of layout design, orchestrating the page.
Putting all the elements onto the page or screen. A successful layout must, first and foremost, be effective in its communication. Its beauty, while important, is secondary to its purpose. This requires deliberate, strategic planning. Key considerations for a designer include the nature of the message itself, the type of image being used, the reproduction process and paper quality, the amount and size of text, and whether the design stands alone or competes with other visual information.
Crucially, the subject, the theme, and the specific content of the design truly dictate the layout style and how to approach the target audience for favorable results.
So your audience.
Effective communication must always be viewed from the receiver's perspective. Layouts can broadly fall into 3 types. Text dominant, where the written content takes center stage, often supported by large display fonts for headlines.
That's words.
Image dominant, where a picture, perhaps a striking celebrity or product shot, is the central focus. Or a balanced approach of image and text, where both elements receive equal exposure. The orientation of the layout, whether vertical portrait or horizontal landscape, is a key decision, often based on factors like line length readability, letters are inherently vertical, or fixed formats. Newspapers are typically vertical, hoardings often horizontal.
Right.
However, the designer exercises discretion, as predominant visual elements, like the height of the Eiffel Tower versus a panoramic seascape, can strongly influence this choice, though other elements also weigh in.
Layout composition and the grid system are vital for organization. Most print media, like newspapers, magazines, and books, employ a fixed grid system to structure their pages, although free or informal compositions also exist.
The invisible scaffolding.
Exactly. Grids fundamentally help divide the available space, organize text and image boxes, and define gutters, those essential blank spaces for readability. They determine the precise size and placement of elements like copy, headlines, logos, and visuals.
Hmm.
The process involves systematically dividing a page into vertical and horizontal sections, adding margins, and then precisely placing elements within this framework. An irregular grid offers a more refined, dynamic look where the material itself subtly defines the grid rather than rigid lines.
A bit more organic.
Yeah. It's important to remember that using all space isn't about filling every inch, it's about achieving visual balance. Designers also meticulously plan for mechanical limitations, such as binding allowances in books or creating cohesive two-page grids for center spreads.
Color in layout is a powerful attention magnet. It significantly increases the memory value and overall efficiency of a layout, and can even create a rhythmic eye movement that guides the viewer.
Draws you in.
Colors inherently convey emotions, so understanding cultural connotations is essential to avoid misinterpretations. Color also directly impacts the legibility of letter forms. For example, while red text on a white background is generally legible, yellow text on a white background can be almost impossible to read comfortably due to low contrast.
Yeah, contrast again.
For copy and type in layout, a deep understanding of the written text, or copy, is absolutely crucial for planning the layout, as it directly influences decisions like column width and typeface choice.
Gotta read the words first.
Designers must know all the elements to include headlines, subheads, body text, illustrations, logo types, testimonials, and ensure the type arrangement achieves visual balance and harmony. Often the space between words and lines matters more for readability than the font size itself.
For design for publication, print specifics, the chosen printing method, whether it's offset, digital, or screen printing, and the type of paper used, its GSM or weight, smoothness, and overall suitability for the project, heavily influence the final result.
The physical reality.
Paper standardization exists internationally, for example, the A1-A4 series, common in digital printing. Alongside specialized papers like newsprint or ivory card for mass production, newspaper layouts are typically characterized by vertical columns and precise gutters or blank spaces crucial for readability. Advertisements within newspapers are often measured by columns wide and centimeters high. Magazine layouts, conversely, feature defined page sizes, fixed print areas, and margins. The concept of bleed is important here. This is printing that extends beyond the trimmed edge of the paper, requiring the artwork to be slightly larger than the final page size.
Ah, right. Printing off the edge.
Magazines often use various column arrangements for articles, while advertisements typically have more creative freedom in their layout.
All right, let's expand our horizons and dive into media and design reaching the audience.
Where the design meets the world. The definition of media has dramatically expanded. Traditionally, it meant established forms like print, radio, TV, cinema, and outdoor billboards. But today, anything that influences the public can be considered media.
This shift was massively propelled by the IT revolution. It fundamentally transformed passive media consumers into active controllers of their media experience,
Giving power to the user.
making interactivity a central and critical factor. This empowerment led directly to the emergence of interaction design, a dynamic new field that seamlessly merges traditional media elements like graphics, audio, video, and text with advanced web technology and user interactivity.
This means the graphic designer's role has profoundly evolved. From being primarily limited to print, they expanded into film and animation, and now face the vast opportunities and challenges of interaction design, leading to specialized fields like GUI or graphical user interface design.
GUI, like what we see on screens.
Exactly. The designer is no longer just a visual creator. They are an integral information manager, deeply involved in the static and dynamic information design, development management, and dissemination across areas like game design, interactive storytelling, and the overall user interface and user experience.
Next, let's talk about digital imaging and printing. New tools, new possibilities.
Pixels and vectors. There's a fundamental difference between traditional paper-based images and digital images, which are created, manipulated, and displayed entirely by computers. Digital images fall into two major types. First, raster images. Think of these as a grid of tiny pixels, each containing specific color and brightness information. Image editing software modifies these individual pixels, making them ideal for photographs and detailed, continuous tone images.
Like JPEGs or PNGs.
Right. The downside is that if you enlarge them too much, they can look pixelated. Second, vector images. These are stored as mathematical descriptions of lines, Bezier curves, and text.
Like logos often are.
Exactly. The key advantage is that they are easily scalable and modifiable to any size without any loss of quality. While some artists feel the graphic quality can sometimes be compromised compared to raster for highly detailed images, the versatility of vector graphics is immense. Software typically specializes in one or the other, and while vector images can easily convert to raster, the reverse process, converting a raster image to a vector, is significantly more complex.
Digital image editing operations provide immense power. Selection is fundamental, allowing designers to apply changes to specific parts or the entire image.
Gotta select what you want to change.
Layers are like digital transparent sheets, offering incredible flexibility for manipulation. You can move elements independently, adjust transparency, and add effects like drop shadows or bevels without altering the original image.
Layers are lifesavers in Photoshop, right?
Totally. Image cropping is not just about cutting. It's a powerful tool to improve visual composition by selecting and extracting the most impactful parts of an image while preserving resolution. And the histogram.
That graph thingy?
Yeah, it's a visual graph of pixel brightness levels within an image, allowing designers to make precise adjustments to image tones, light, and shadows.
Digital printing has truly revolutionized the production process. It marks a significant shift from conventional methods, as there's no longer a need for physical blocks, plates, or silk screens. The artwork is entirely digital.
Straight from computer to printer.
This means incredible efficiency. Quick test prints, easy last-minute manipulations, and direct printing via inkjet or laser using microscopic CMYK dots. The advantages are clear, significant time and cost savings compared to traditional methods. This revolution also gave rise to print on demand, a game-changing concept that allows for small, personalized print runs. Think a single poetry book, a custom photo album, or a unique gift book printed one copy whenever needed, eliminating the need for large print runs.
So you don't need 1,000 copies anymore.
Exactly. It has also greatly benefited the retail industry by enabling a wide range of printable media sizes for highly targeted and localized advertising.
Now let's explore advertising design, the art of persuasion.
Selling stuff, basically, but artfully. Today, media's reach has expanded far beyond traditional forms to encompass anything that influences consumers, with digital media now providing crucial support. Effective advertising strategy demands a sophisticated balance of creative thinking and sharp business acumen, requiring in-depth knowledge of media channels, meticulous planning, precise costing, and nuanced marketing principles.
Media planning is a highly specialized task involving the strategic selection of the right media mix print, TV, outdoor, radio, cinema, and the internet to reach diverse target markets.
Where to put the ads?
A significant challenge in this field is accurate data. It's often difficult to precisely measure the effectiveness and true audience penetration for various media, going beyond just basic opportunities to see an advertisement.
Let's consider the various types of media, not just as a list, but for their strategic strengths. For print media, newspapers are still the largest advertising medium in India.
Still, wow.
Yeah. They offer broad market reach, flexibility in ad design, color options, short notice periods for placement, and regional targeting. However, they have a short shelf life and variable reproduction quality.
Right, tomorrow's fish and chip paper.
Magazines, on the other hand, cater to niche audiences, offering a more leisurely reading experience, highly targeted markets, a longer shelf life, and sophisticated printing quality. Their downsides include longer lead times and higher costs. Trade-offs: posters, textual and graphic, are mass-produced via lithography, offering great size and color flexibility, as well as area selection. But they require permissions and face intense visual competition. Beyond these, there are less commercial print items like books, brochures, and journals. And of course, point of purchase, POP advertising, like streamers and danglers at sale points, designed for immediate conversion. Finally, direct mail, which is highly personalized for high unit value items, offering a personal touch and no competition on the page, though it can be expensive for mass products and requires meticulous mailing lists.
Then we have electronic media. Radio offers wide coverage, low cost, persuasive voice and music, and can be timed for specific audiences, often using local languages.
But you can't see anything.
Right. However, it primarily serves as a reminder or support medium, has creative limitations, and audience data can be less precise. Film and cinema offer a high-impact audiovisual experience, providing both local and national coverage, but come with a high cost, especially for high-end products, and can sometimes be perceived as an intrusion.
Those ads before the movie.
Yeah. Television, from its early experimental days to today's global channels, provides immense coverage, deep creative impact, high prestige, and great flexibility. Yet, it entails high initial costs, can suffer from limited viewer attention, and its message is fleeting, often requiring repetition to stick. Online newspapers, of course, are web-based versions, professionally regulated.
And finally, outdoor media. Designed for maximum visibility. Hoardings, billboards, are full color, cost-effective for large images, offering high coverage and repetition, but with restricted message length and intense visual competition.
Fighting for eyeballs.
Vehicle graphics turn buses and trains into moving poster sites. Bus bays offer a captive audience at bus stops. Neon signs provide vibrant night advertising. Balloons have emerged as a new medium for event advertising.
Balloons.
Installations and ambient media are often three-dimensional works that attract passers-by, frequently used for corporate image building or product replicas. And road shows, from traditional to modern mini parades, are dynamic ways to launch products. Finally, events and exhibitions serve as corporate functions and trade fairs to project a positive image and generate business.
Now let's delve into campaign design. Strategic storytelling.
The big picture. The term campaign actually has military origins, referring to a well-organized, multi-dimensional series of actions. In the advertising world, it signifies strategic planning that utilizes different media, going far beyond mere aesthetics to achieve a functional, organic unity of elements like compelling copy, impactful typography, vivid illustration, and strong symbolism.
Bringing it all together.
The core theme is crucial. All aspects of the campaign must be harmoniously woven together to convey the message effectively, with sales increase as the ultimate measure of success.
Creative objectives for campaigns are varied. They might aim to introduce new products, entice consumers to replace competitors' products, increase usage frequency of an existing product, create new consumer habits, arouse initial interest, provide technical information, boost seasonal sales, or even impress the retail trade.
Lots of potential goals. Our source highlights two main kinds of campaigns. Product promotion campaigns, which include fast-moving consumer goods, FMCG, requiring consistent year-round advertising, and consumer durables, which encourage specific purchases or replacements requiring descriptive copy, larger ad spaces, and sustained continuity. The other category is non-product campaigns, which encompass corporate campaigns focused on building a company's personality or image, service campaigns raising awareness for services like railways or hospitals, and social awareness campaigns, often by governments or NGOs, for societal upliftment around issues like health or social evils.
Planning a campaign requires no fixed formulas. Instead, it demands attractive, refreshing, and distinctly different approaches driven by creative thinking.
Gotta be creative.
Stages typically involve intense brainstorming, idea generation, and visualization. It begins with gathering raw materials, comprehensive data and general knowledge, and then moves into an incubation stage where the ideas simmer, often influenced by motivating factors like humor, sympathy, anxiety, or fear.
Playing on emotions.
Pictorial dramatization, whether direct or indirect, is key for visualizing the message. Creative planning ultimately decides the basic theme and meticulously plans how the story will be told, with the media planner and creative group making final decisions based on budget constraints.
Brainstorming sessions are inherently collective work where, crucially, all ideas are accepted without immediate criticism, fostering a safe space for creativity. Quantity, quality, and variety of ideas are analyzed later.
Right, that no bad ideas rule again.
When working on a campaign, the basic objectives are clear: to retain existing buyers, create new consumers, and convert competitors' buyers. The creative strategy involves meticulous message generation, careful evaluation, and flawless execution. Strategic planning elements include identifying the unique selling points, USP, of a product,
It makes it special.
defining the key buyer benefits, understanding consumer demographics, age, sex, income, and delving into psychographics, lifestyle, attitude. A powerful insight is that if consumers identify with the model in an advertisement, they are significantly more likely to make a purchase.
The identification factor.
Research and data collection are paramount for any successful campaign. Market intelligence involves exploring a company's or product's image relative to its competitors, gathering opinions to plan effective advertising, and addressing consumer doubts. This process helps understand fashion trends, demands, and buying patterns, providing crucial data on general market trends, competitive products, and consumer psychology. Market research specifically studies sales potential, existing and potential markets, competitor methods, and selling policies.
Yep.
Consumer research aims to deeply understand consumer needs, buying motives, distinguishing between primary needs and secondary appeals like security, health, comfort, fear, ego, or status, and consumer psychology. Finally, product research collects comprehensive data on all competitive products within a segment, including packaging, pricing, demand, and their unique selling propositions.
On the creative aspects of a campaign, the core idea must be meticulously analyzed, interpreted, and developed in a way that triggers memory, instinct, and intuition in the audience. The layout must be attractive, but never overly loud or distracting.
Find that balance.
Illustration is incredibly powerful. Well-chosen images can penetrate deep into the subconscious and effectively replace complex language. Color, as we discussed earlier, is a strong attention magnet, but its use must be discriminatory, carefully considering consumer preferences and its impact on legibility. Ultimately, creativity in words and expressions provides the crucial motivation, shaping the correct approach to create those to-buy conditions. The initial design brief is absolutely vital here for reducing communication gaps and clearly outlining expected goals.
Developing a concept means distilling the core message down to presenting benefits that truly stand out, meticulously matching specific selling points to underlying buying motives. These buying motives, as we discussed, can be social, psychological, or economical.
Tapping into desires.
While primary appeals address basic needs like food and shelter, more common secondary appeals tap into desires for security, health, comfort, the avoidance of fear, ego gratification, or status. When selecting appropriate media, the media planner makes a critical decision, whether to spread the campaign across multiple media channels for broad reach or concentrate on one for deeper impact.
Spread thin or go deep.
This decision is guided by a checklist assessing impact, target market coverage, and sufficient frequency. The focus should be on the medium that provides the most positive answers to these criteria. The overall budget dictates the campaign's size and duration. Often, at least 3 exposures are needed for an advertisement to make a lasting impact, and frequency depends heavily on the campaign's urgency, such as in elections or major events.
Large advertising agency departments are typically structured to handle these complex campaigns. Key departments often include research for insights, planning for strategy, media for placement, and publicity for the agency itself. Client servicing, often called accounts, manages client relationships. There's advertising for various clients, PR and events for public relations, and crucially, the creative department, encompassing art direction, copywriting, audiovisual scripting, and photography.
The creatives.
Visualization is where ideas and concepts are generated, followed by production and execution. Finally, general administration handles HR, finance, and infrastructure. In contrast, an in-house advertising department, often headed by an advertising manager, requires that individual to wear many hats and possess intimate knowledge of the product and its competitive landscape.
Finally, let's look at integrated methods of advertising. Beyond the ad itself, this encompasses strategic events and activities designed to amplify a brand or message.
They're more than just running ads.
Exactly. Launches, for example, require extensive advanced planning and budgeting for anything from soft introductions and brand awareness campaigns to full-scale market invasions. Sales events, conversely, are typically designed to clear old stock or offer discounts, often without quality guarantees, focusing on immediate conversion.
Get rid of old stock.
Exhibitions and trade fairs demand strategic participation with clear objectives, a compelling theme, a detailed budget, attractions, and all necessary permissions.
Publicity is about conveying messages to the general public without a defined target audience, with the goal of shaping public opinion, whether positive or negative.
Getting the word out.
This includes corporate social responsibility, CSR initiatives, where companies engage in environment-friendly practices, employee welfare, or community development to generate positive publicity, build corporate image, and ultimately influence market perceptions.
Doing good to look good and maybe sell more.
Political publicity is used, especially during elections, to highlight a ruling party's achievements or undermine opponents, publicizing manifestos and organizing rallies. Public awareness programs are typically government-funded, focusing on health or consumer awareness, or NGO-funded for social causes, often leveraging public figures or media partnerships.
Public relations, PR, is a distinct management function focused on establishing mutual understanding and building goodwill through transparent communication and truth-based information. Its aim is to enhance reputation, credibility, and status.
Building relationships.
Media relations are crucial in PR, involving regular interaction with journalists through press releases and conferences. The professional view emphasizes that publicity should be based on genuine news value, not just advertising support. Planning events requires a clear purpose, defined dates, a suitable venue, and duration. It involves forming various committees, administration, technical, cultural, media, security to develop strategic plans.
Lots of organization.
Budgeting and sponsorships are critical, requiring detailed cost estimates with breakdowns for materials and expenses. Segment-wise proposals are crucial for attracting potential sponsors.
Visual communication and impact are central to these integrated methods. Simplified graphic images are often used to convey the essence of a message for immediate recall. Powerful symbols can evoke deeper, more intuitive responses.
The power of symbols again.
Corporate identity. A company's visible, audible, and identifiable elements like its logo, symbol, and tagline project its personality and image. It's a strategic tool for building awareness, facilitating restructuring, pre-selling products, influencing stakeholders, managing crises, attracting employees, and projecting good corporate citizenship.
The brand space.
Vision and mission statements are explicit declarations of values that help secure reputation and ensure positive results. Events themselves vary by scale. Once-only events, international, national, state, city, and organization-level events, each requiring different planning considerations.
And lastly, graphic design for interactive media, the digital frontier. As we mentioned earlier, the IT revolution truly empowered the passive user with unprecedented control and interactivity.
You're clicking, swiping, interacting.
Fundamentally leading to what we now call interaction design.
The interaction design is defined as the interactive and meaningful transaction and management of information, utilizing all forms of media and emerging technologies.
It sounds complex.
It's essentially a powerful extension of visual media, blending traditional graphics, audio, video, and text with cutting-edge web technology and deeply embedded interactivity. This has dramatically expanded the graphic designer's role from being limited to print, then film and animation, and now deeply involved in GUI, graphical user interface, design, user interface, UI, user experience, UX, and information architecture.
UI, UX, big buzzwords now.
Designers are now vital information managers, integral to both static and dynamic information design in areas like web design, e-commerce, e-learning platforms, and complex game design.
Basic concepts that underpin this digital frontier include the Internet, which is simply a global network of interconnected computers. The World Wide Web, WWW, refers to the vast collection of interlinked documents and other web resources accessed via the Internet, connected through virtual links known as hyperlinks, and primarily structured using HTML.
Right.
A website is simply a collection of interconnected web pages, resources, and services like email or online shopping, all identified by a unique URL.
Websites are broadly classified into a few key types. Static websites are those where the information or interface doesn't change frequently. They're updated periodically.
Simpler sites?
They're cost-effective, relatively simple to build, generally secure, and easily searchable. Within this category, you find personal websites, informal, reflecting individual personality, corporate websites, projecting organizations' image, goals, and vision, and web directories, offering specialized information like educational resources. Then there are dynamic websites, where information changes frequently and can be modified by user interaction.
More complex, database-driven often.
These sites adapt to user preferences via scripting, offering much greater flexibility. Subcategories include e-commerce sites for online buying and selling, web-based applications like online meetings or banking, gaming websites, graphics-heavy online games, blogs, web-based diaries for sharing ideas, and e-learning websites for online education and training. Finally, portals are mega websites that combine multiple related website types, acting as a gateway to vast amounts of information and services.
The website development process typically follows a series of stages. Graphic designers play a particularly constructive role in the initial phases, especially information architecture and visual design.
Okay.
The first stage, website planning, involves defining goals, collecting information, analyzing similar successful sites, and determining the desired look and feel, content, functionality, and necessary technical support.
Laying the groundwork.
The second, and perhaps most crucial stage for the designer, is information architecture. This is where the content structure is meticulously sketched out. It includes user studies, site specifications, how information will be classified and chunked into manageable pieces, task flow analysis, navigational schema, sitemaps, and even initial thumbnails and wireframes to visualize the structure before any visual design begins.
Planning the user's journey.
Visual design for the web is absolutely critical. This encompasses the overall look and feel, the underlying page grid, and the graphic standards that will be maintained throughout the site. It also involves estimating all the required visuals and then creating or collecting all the necessary assets, text, graphics, audio, and video.
Hmm.
The actual website structure then comes into play. Designing the homepage, placing the logo and brand identity, setting clear page titles, creating both global and local navigation systems, incorporating search functionalities, designing links, organizing the content itself, and ensuring contact and copyright information are clearly visible.
All the essential parts.
Beyond structure, understanding visual patterns for web pages is also key. Applying traditional design principles like the rule of thirds to how elements are placed on a screen, and understanding eye-tracking patterns like the F pattern for how users typically scan web content.
The F pattern, like reading the top and left side.
Exactly. The graphic design approach for web applies familiar principles of visual composition like balance, rhythm, and proportion, but with a keen awareness of specific web user behaviors. For instance, understanding the center of interest, users often focus on corners or the middle, and user habits, their typical reading patterns, is paramount.
Okay.
The goal of visual impact in design is to create a clear visual hierarchy, define functional locations for elements, and provide consistent visual clues to guide the user. Consistency is crucial in web design for user adaptation and predictability of information and navigation.
Don't confuse the user.
Right. Contrast is used to create a strong, consistent visual hierarchy, emphasizing key elements and organizing content logically, always balancing visual contrast with overall harmony. The Gestalt for web design applies fundamental principles of human visual processing to how we perceive web layouts. Our minds naturally see wholes rather than disconnected parts.
Gestalt, like grouping things.
Yeah. Principles like proximity, elements close together are seen as a group. Similarity, similar elements are grouped. Continuity, our eyes follow line curves. Closure, we complete incomplete shapes, and uniform connectedness, elements visually connected are seen as a unit, all work to organize information, aid scanning, and ensure consistency. This also leads to what's sometimes called the 1 + 1 = 3 effect, where negative space or the relationships between elements can create new, unintended visual elements.
Wow, okay. Finally, a word on designing navigation.
Getting around the site. The primary goal is to guide the user through the website quickly and intuitively, ideally with as few clicks as possible, allowing seamless movement between any pages.
Don't make me think.
Pretty much. Core components include providing clear orientation, so users always know where they are, facilitating efficient route decisions, helping them find the shortest path to their desired information, building on users' existing mental models, their ingrained habits and expectations for how websites work, and ensuring closure, the satisfaction they feel when they successfully complete a task. From the designer's perspective, this means focusing on semantic logic, consistent links and menus, ensuring accessibility, an intuitive start for all users, providing a clear home link, designing both global and local navigation systems, working within a macro design framework, and carefully choosing a consistent visual palette for navigational elements.
Ultimately, the various interactivity categories on the web define how users engage. Reactive interactivity means the website provides clues and the user responds. Think filling out a form.
Simple interaction.
Proactive interactivity is when the user initiates an action and the website responds, like choosing from a set of options. And mutual interactivity is the most sophisticated, where the website adapts to the user's progress, offers advice, and actively helps, demonstrating intelligent and adaptive behavior.
Like a smart assistant.
In conclusion, website design is a fascinating blend of artistic sensitivity, technological know-how, and sharp analytical capability, constantly offering new opportunities and challenges for graphic designers.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive. We've truly explored so much ground today, from uncovering the hidden omnipresence of design in our daily lives to meticulously detailing its intricate, multi-stage processes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We then broke down its fundamental building blocks like the emotional language of color and the strategic science of typography, and finally charted its dynamic evolution into the expansive world of digital and interactive media.
You now possess a powerful new lens through which to view the world. You understand the immense thought, the meticulous strategy, and the profound artistry behind virtually every visual experience you encounter daily. Consider yourself truly well-informed about how design fundamentally shapes everything around you.
So what does this all mean for your interactions with the designed world, now that you can see the intricate threads of aesthetics, teleology, and semiotics woven into every sign, every screen, every product you touch?
Yeah.
How will you approach creation or consumption differently? What new problems might you now discover that are just ripe for a creative design solution?
Food for thought. Keep observing, keep analyzing, and who knows, maybe even try sketching out some of those principles yourself.